1017 FM 710 Keel, Mike and McCarty on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline. Congressman Mike Johnson joining us. Congressman, first of all, good morning. Happy Wednesday.
Hey, happy Wednesday to you guys.
I know you're preparing to, I don't know, grill might be the wrong word, FBI Director Christopher Wray. Is that later this morning?
Yeah, grilling is the right word.
Okay, good.
It's overdue. Yeah.
What
Get
happened?
ready for fireworks.
What happened to the FBI, for crying out loud?
Yeah.
It's a great question, guys. It's heartbreaking, and it's very dangerous, and it's no time to mince words. I mean, this hearing's at 10 a.m. Eastern time, so it'll be 9 a.m. for you guys, but it'll be televised, and it should be. I mean, the American people have lost faith in the FBI. And all of my constituents, everybody back home is demanding that we get this situation under control because they know how serious it is.
What are you going to be focusing on during your line of questioning?
Well, I can't help but go after him on this just stunning court opinion that we got out of North Louisiana on July 4th, the 155-page opinion. And I know y'all discussed it. We all have. I had Jeff Landry our Attorney General, on my podcast 2 days after the opinion came out. And we just talked for a while about the massive implications of this. The court has found, and look, we know the FBI is being used as a political tool of the Biden administration. I mean, people have lost count of the mounting scandals, right?
And the Obama administration before that.
Exactly. They set it up this way, but it's gotten progressively worse. And so they're using counterterrorism resources against concerned school parents. You know, they've raided the homes of conservative political opponents. They targeted conservative states over election integrity laws. I mean, labeled conservative Catholics violent extremists, on and on and on, right? Well, now we know that this opinion comes out July 4th. That the court has ruled, it's looked at all this evidence, it's exhaustive opinion, they've ruled that the FBI has been directly involved in what the court said, not Mike Johnson's words, this is the judge, arguably the most massive attack against free speech in United States history. Y'all, the White House, the DOJ, the FBI, colluded with and coerced the social media companies to take down free speech online that was conservative in nature. And the court gave a list. Here's a quick list. Things related to the Hunter Biden laptop story prior to the 2020 presidential election, the lab leak theory of COVID-19, the effectiveness of the lockdowns and the vaccines, speech about election integrity. I mean, even parody about the president, negative post about the economy. They made the social media companies pull it off the internet. And so millions and millions of Americans' messages were censored prior to the last election cycle and all the other implications that come from this.
It's extremely disturbing. But what can the average citizen do, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've got to demand accountability, and that's why we have the director, the top guy, in front of us under oath this morning. And I'm going to ask him right along the lines of that question that you just asked, Mike. My first question for him is, sir, have you read the opinion? Because he's going to testify. We know what he's going to say for his 5-minute opener. He gave us a 14-page report that was issued and prepared on July 12th, okay, 8 days after this court ruling. There's not one word about this opinion in his statement to us. And so he's not going to get away, okay? I'll be the first one to ask questions. Chairman Jordan opens it. He's going to punt directly to me, and I'm going to lead off, and I'm going after the director. This is no time for, to mince words, as I said. He's got to tell us how this is being fixed, who's going to be held accountable, what we're going to do going forward, or he is going to lose his job. And if he doesn't lose his job because the president is in charge of hiring the FBI director, we're going to cut the funding of the FBI. Okay, they want this $1 billion new headquarters, their dream facility. We're not going to give it to them. If the most powerful federal law enforcement agency in the country cannot respect the most fundamental constitutional rights of the people, they do not deserve to have their travel junkets and all these fancy offices they want. Okay?
Well, I'm glad you're where you are.
They got a very serious job to do.
How systemic is it, do you think? Does it trickle down all the way to the local offices of the FBI's around the country?
It's a great point and a very important distinction, Aaron. We got patriotic, noble field agents throughout the FBI and the whole institution, and they do their work, and they're trying to do the right thing. It's the leadership at the top that is rotten. Okay, they just become a political arm of one party. And my greatest fear, and we've talked about this many times, when the people lose faith in their institutions of justice, we cannot keep a republic. I mean, this is what the founders told us very directly. If you lose that, you lose a very important pillar of the country. We just celebrated our 247th birthday. There's no guarantee we can keep it another 10 years if the people think we have a dual system of justice. I mean, there's nothing more important than this. And I'm going to tell Director Wray here in just a short while, this ought to be the very first thing you think about every morning when you get up, sir, and every night when you go to bed, that the perception of the FBI and the Department of Justice is essential to maintain. The polling right now says that only 37% of registered voters view the FBI positively.
Wow.
37%.
Well, I'm surprised it's that high.
We can't continue at this pace.
How do you make it apolitical, though? What do you have to do? What are some changes you have to make?
Yeah, I don't see it changing while we still have this sitting president.
They've got, look, the DOJ and the FBI, you're right. This president, Merrick Garland, is corrupt. He's the attorney general. He's ultimately in charge of all this. And both of these guys, I mean, there's calls for Merrick Garland to be impeached, and I think there's plenty of evidence to do it. I mean, he is a completely political operative. They have weaponized the department, and they're doing it to the great harm of the American people, the Constitution, and all of our rights. And we're people ask me all the time back home, y'all, why can't you perp walk some of these guys? Why can't you, indict them, put them on trial? And I have to remind them, we're just one house of Congress. We barely have a majority in the House right now. We don't have it in the Senate. And we don't have the ability under the Constitution to indict anybody or to put them on trial in a court. What we can do, what we must do, is put them on trial in the court of public opinion, to put the evidence out there, to let the American people see it so they can draw their conclusions, so they can vote accordingly in the next election. Because as you point out, these are agencies of the executive branch, and it matters.